Why are young Catholics becoming so traditional?
What do you mean by traditional? Do you mean like traditional Lutheran, traditional Baptist, traditional Eastern Rite? What are you talking about?
Whenever I attend my local parish, I see the boomers playing the guitar, holding hands during the Our Father, taking communion on the hand, and then the young people aged 20 to 30, they're kneeling, communion on the tongue only.
I mean, communion on the tongue was just how the old people in the church where I grew up taught me how to receive communion. And so just about everyone received it kneeling and on the tongue, even if they were in a wheelchair and they had to fall out to do it. The other thing we did was intinction, which didn't allow you to receive on the hand because then you get the blood of Christ all over your hand and you have to lick your fingers, and that's just not fun to watch in church.
There's also been a huge surge in popularity for the Latin Mass. The women are veiling, the guys are dressed up in full suits. My personal theory,
You don't have to go to a Latin Mass to wear a veil or a suit. You can wear a veil or a suit to any Mass. It's a Mass. If it's a valid Mass, you have a good reason to wear a suit and a chapel veil.
is that people are tired of the agenda of Vatican II.
There are multiple agendas of Vatican II. One of them, ironically, in this case, is actually to get young people more involved in the sacrifice of the Mass, which is part of the reason it was changed the way it was changed, like saying the Mass in your local language, like English or Swahilian or Spanish or whatever your local language is, so that you actually know what's happening. Not everyone knows Latin, so not everyone understands it. Bringing a new convert to a Latin Mass, as far as I know, is one of the weirdest things you can do to evangelize, because they don't understand a single thing that's happening in there because they can't hear what the priest is saying.
Which seeks to modernize and get with the times.
Can one of these rad chads show me where in the canon of the Mass does it say you can ride a hoverboard? Where? Where does it say that?
Modernize and get with the times. People want something real, something authentic.
I mean, I could use some authentic mac and cheese right now. Having the box printed in Latin does not make it more authentic than having it printed in English so that I actually know what I'm eating.
And that's exactly what tradition gives you.
Just because the formula to the Mass has changed a little bit doesn't make it less authentic than the traditional Mass. If you really want to be traditional, we should have the Romans oppressing all of the Christians just like they did at the time of Jesus. That's how you get real authentic Christianity, is with martyrdom. But no, he thinks you have to be speaking Latin for it to be traditional. You could also be speaking whatever language the Eastern Rite were doing, because they've been doing it almost as long as the Latin Rite. Like, they broke off a couple hundred years after the start of Christianity. So they're a little bit behind, just a little bit, but they're still pretty traditional.
Let me know what y'all think in the comments. What?
You know what? That's a good idea. Let me know what you think in the comments. Thank you, Iron Inquisitor, for your testimony. Your grade is a B-.